dedication. I'm so grateful for this atmosphere. This is a special time. We're all here and feeling fine. As we go, we know our lives are entwined. An incredible thing is happening. We're all here, and you and me. It's good to be near. Show my appreciation. I declare my dedication. I'm so grateful for this atmosphere. Oh, I'm so grateful for this atmosphere. One more time. I'm so grateful for this atmosphere. Thank you.
All right, yay. I just love how when we sing our opening song, it's like we just call in all of our beloveds and fill up this room with love. Good morning again, and welcome to the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you are part of our online community or you're here in the room today, I want you to know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. And so we also want to tell you a little bit about who we are. I'm honored to be your host this morning, and it's my pleasure to remind us of that. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the diversity of creation. We aspire to live authentic spiritual lives through the practical applications and the teachings of science of mind. And there are several things that we believe in the science of mind, and we've boiled them down to these 4 main points. First is that all thought is creative. If you're thinking it, you're already creating the manifestation of that in this beautiful world. That we're always co-creating with the divine. Because, number 2, there is only God. Everything that we see, hear, feel, touch, taste, and smell is God made manifest. And if you're thinking, yeah, but sometimes those things don't feel so God-like, that's because we experience it only to the degree that we accept it. So we believe that evil only starts and stops in our own minds. Number 3 is that everything is either a call for love or an expression of it. So if there's something that is challenging or someone who may be challenging for you, you can go ahead and just lean back into this principle that that too is a call for love. And how can you show up more fully as love in that moment or that situation? And then number 4 kind of brings it all together and wraps it up, is that what we know is that because God is all that there is, that we too are a piece of that. And that means we are whole, perfect, and complete right now, right in this moment. Nothing that has to be done, nothing that needs to be changed. You're already there. You are whole, perfect, and complete right here and right now. And so then we want to know if there are any first-time guests or first or second-time guests, now that we've told you a little bit about us. And so if you are feeling comfortable, we just ask you to raise your hand so we can celebrate you. All right. We've got a few. That's beautiful. I just love to see all of our first-time guests here. And if you are joining us online, please know that you can get more information by emailing the office so we can add you to the list. And for those of you here in the room, I believe Chana is passing out some packets, and you can also sign up over here to be added to our email list. And at this time, we're going to go ahead and do our inclusion candle lighting. Who's our inclusion person? For Carol today. Carol, if you can come on up. Thank you. We light this candle to celebrate the unity of all people, all faiths, all beings, and all life, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation, seen and unseen. This candle reminds us of the light of spirit within each one of us. I also want to remind you that we are a praying community. So if there is something on your heart, weighing on your mind, or even something you want to celebrate, we want to remind you you're not alone, that we're here to pray with you in this beautiful praying community, and we would love to support you in that. Prayer will be available after service today with Rev Manolin. And in the seat backs, you will find lavender prayer request sheets. You can fill those out to place a prayer request in the box that's to the left of the entryway. They look like this. And if you are part of our virtual community, please visit the website after service at sierracenter.org and click on spiritual support from the main menu bar. Then select prayer, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you can click on a form that'll be similar to this, where you can fill that out, and one of our practitioners will reach back out to you. All right, and now I want to invite up, who is our board member that's doing announcements today? It's Stephen. To invite Stephen up to the platform to read our community announcements. I don't see the announcements here. Oh, right here. Oh, yep, they are.
Okay, testing. Good morning. My name is Stephen, and very first announcement today after service. This is a biggie. Please join us for our annual 2025 membership meeting. We have one every January. We are going to be welcoming some new board members, we hope. All members are strongly encouraged to attend. Non-members are also welcome. The board members all provided some food, and so stick around. We're luring you in. Don't miss drop-in yoga with Sarah, Thursdays from noon to 1 p.m. Please bring your own yoga mat. There's a $10 suggested love donation. 40 Days of Prosperity with Liliana runs from Friday, January 24th to March 14th at 7:30 p.m., and it's in Spanish. We have a hand drum class and drum circle Sunday, February 2nd after our potluck with Carrie the Shaker Man. Also, February 12th and 19th from 3 to 5 p.m., drum rental $5, class is $15, and the circle itself is on a love donation basis. We have our Sacred Dance Circle on Monday, February 3rd from 10:30 to noon here. Please arrive at 10:15, and RSVPs are appreciated. There's a flyer in the foyer for more information. Dos de la Candelaria, Monday, sorry, butchered that, February 3rd at 7 p.m. This is the last of the 3 Mexican religious celebrations through a metaphysical lens. Homemade tamales are included, and I got the baby Jesus. So I should be hosting, but I'm not. Mark your calendars. The much anticipated Rise and Speak program begins Tuesday, February 18th at 6 p.m. What is this? Spots are limited to 9 participants, taught by Rev Mitch. Sign up in the foyer. A $60 deposit is required. Coming up in March, we will be offering Science of Mind Foundations class. Sign up if you're interested in learning the foundational teachings of the science of mind. Class is 10 weeks long. Yes, and then there's a little blurb that info for everything is in the foyer. And that is it for today. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you, Stephen. And now we'd like to welcome back up our guest artist for today, Lauren. I'm going to say it wrong. Is it Montgomery? Oh, okay. See, it was easier than I thought it was.
I feel like guiding our way home. I see light, essence of my soul. I am light. In my heart I know we are light. Together we are whole. Oh, Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah. Sing with me. I feel light. Sometimes I forget my own words. I see light, essence of my soul. I am light. In my heart I know we are light. Together we are whole.
Good morning, everyone. Nothing happens without glasses. I don't know about you. Anyway, so the sacred reading for today is something I selected because it's for me. So hopefully it's for you as well. It's out of the Science of Mind magazine that comes out once every 2 months. And this was from January 3rd. Stretch into possibilities. Deep breath. Stretching into possibilities requires us to examine our ability to trust. We may have people in our lives we trust, and those we learn not to trust. The important question is, do you trust yourself? Do you keep your word to yourself? If you say something you will do you do it? This is an area many of us avoid exploring because the answer to many of these questions is a firm no. I can't count the times I've said I would only have one piece of chocolate, or that I will exercise every day after work, and then I didn't follow through. Stretching into possibilities requires us to change, and changing requires action on our part. Can we trust ourselves to follow through? We can begin building trust with ourselves by keeping our word to ourselves. We can examine our trust in spirit. We can also examine our trust in spirit. Intellectually, we may agree with our science of mind teachings of principle and universal law. But do we see these laws unfailingly demonstrating in our lives? When Jesus spoke, he found his word healing. He followed it with a miracle because he expected it. He understood the law of cause and effect and a complete and unfailing trust in spirit and a trust in ourselves. Deep breath. So I'd like to guide you in a meditation today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ring the bowl. And we're also going to do ohms. And we'll do 3 ohms after the bowl ringing. And then we'll go into a 3-minute meditation this time. Hold on. when something so beautiful and magnificent and joyous is entering your life. Say yes, and celebrate. So I'm so grateful that this is all in the law. It's in that divine process. It's already in action, and it shows up, and we see it and we celebrate it. So I'm grateful. I'm in love. I'm in light. I'm in joy. And I say yes to this all, and in deep gratitude we say together, and so it is. Blessed be. Is there a song next? I'm not sure what's going on now.
Actually, no. This song is by James Taylor. And true. James Taylor's not here today.
Well, the secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Any fool can do it.
There ain't nothing to it.
Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. But since we're all on the way down, we might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is in opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let that stand in your way. 'Cause anyone knows that love is the only road. And since we're only here for a while, we might as well show some style. So come on and give us a smile. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down and gliding down, but try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Well, the secret of time is time isn't really real. It's just your point of view. How does it feel for you? Well, Einstein said he could never understand it all. The planets spinning through space, the smile upon your face. So welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down and gliding down, but try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Welcome to the human race. Welcome to the human race. Welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down and gliding down, but try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time.
Beautiful. Can we give it up again for Lauren and Michael? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ah. Happy Sunday, everyone. Turn to somebody and say, glad you came. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Let's greet each other. You know, this is one of my favorite parts of the service. I get to see everyone just glow and smile and connect. And if you weren't here, we wouldn't be able to do that. So glad that you're here today. Now, you might have noticed some changes in service. We didn't have the community value or what's alive in you today. And we're just trying on, like a sweater, some formats. And we would love any feedback that you have. We have the suggestion box back there. And we listen. By the way, we listen. So somebody had suggested we come up with a card for the center, and we listened with our values, and they're there now. We had another suggestion about adding some music to the meditation, and we're going to work towards that and give it a try and see how it is for everybody. So we would love to know how it's landing with you. And I'm a little tinny. I'm a little tinny. Okay, they're working on it. So please let us know. This is an interactive process. It's not a me church, it's a we church. So we need to know what's on your heart and how things are landing. Part of our goal is to create a little time to bring the children up. Wouldn't that be wonderful? To get their energy up here. So that's coming in February. I believe we're going to be able to do that. And keep the service around an hour, hour 10, right in that time frame. Because we know Sundays are busy, especially for families or if you got plans with people. So we want to honor your time. Please come to the annual membership meeting. Please come. Even if you're not a member, we're going to have an interactive component where we're going to hear your vision, your thoughts, your wants, your hopes for this space and this community. So everybody's welcome, and you were told there's food, right? Everyone knows. Everyone comes. And there's gluten-free pasta. I brought that. My gluten-free people, we have you covered. Karen's got the vegans covered. We have some vegan food as well. And, of course, meatitarians. We got everybody. We got everybody. We're inclusive. So man dies, he goes to heaven. And, of course, Peter meets him at the pearly gates. And Peter says, here's how it works. You need 100 points to get into heaven. You tell me all the good things you've done, and I'll give points for each one of them depending how good they are. And then he says, when you reach 100, you get in. And the man says, okay, fine. Well, I was married to the same woman for 50 years, never cheated on her, even in my heart. Wonderful, Peter says. That's worth 3 points. 3 points, he says. Well, I attended church all my life and supported the ministry with my tithe and service. Terrific, Peter says. That's certainly worth a point. 1 point? Golly. How about this? The man says, I started a soup kitchen in my city, and I served at the shelter for homeless veterans. Fantastic, Peter says. 2 more points. 2 points, the man cries. At this rate, the only way I'll get into heaven is by the grace of God. Peter smiles and says, come on in. And I love this joke because it's a great paradox between kind of our thinking of the world, right? The point system, or checking the boxes, or getting everything a certain way to be enough. And that's the thinking of the world. But the truth is, you are always enough. Always have been. In fact, when we work with the high truth, the world of spirit, 1 and 1 can equal anything we want it to. It doesn't play by the rules of the world. There's this exponential power to spirit, this God stuff, that will move us past the probabilities, the statistics, anything we're told by the experts. Right? Because last week we talked about walking around in that world, the world of effects, or woe. You're going to get that level of possibility in your experience. And we talked about there's another operating source called the world of consciousness, or source. Ernest Holmes called it first cause. right? Anybody go to the store and ever buy milk or orange juice, right? You go to the store, you buy milk or orange juice. Was the store the source of the milk or the orange juice? No, that's secondary. See, world of effects is secondary. If you want to go to first cause for your milk, right? You're going to the cow or you're going to the tree. That's the source. And isn't it better when we get it from the cow or from the tree? Get much better results. The same is true with what we're calling forth in our life. And if we're just depending on the secondary causes or effects, it's limited. It's limited. And so today we're going to talk about, I'm going to encourage you to embrace defies the odds thinking. And when I mean odds, I'm talking about, the world of effects. That's where the odds, percentages, and statistics are, because you're not a statistic. Nobody in here is a statistic. You know what statistics are? They are the total sum of that average of that level of consciousness. That's what a statistic is. And when everyone raises their consciousness, guess what? The statistics change, don't they? That's what happens. And so I'm encouraging you to start doing that mind shift. Anybody ever remember the dots, the pictures with the dots, and if you stared at them long enough, you saw a deer, or you saw a moon or a stars? I used to stand in front of those things. That's kind of what we need to do. We need to adjust our vision through the condition, through the dots, to see Spirit's picture for us and follow that vision. Many of us know, and I've said before, that I grew up having to live this philosophy. I didn't know any better. My mom just told me to live it. She'd go, if there's a will, there's a way. Mind over matter. So I was like a fish in water. I didn't know land or air. I just knew this teaching. That's all I knew, was to look at possibility, what I wanted, and go for it. And so in middle school, I declared that I was going to get an athletic scholarship, and I was going to major in psychology. But my mom, single mom, on disability, we had no money. Never mind, I was going to do that. And then I ended up deciding I was going to go to St. Mary's College, a private college, on top of that. Never mind, we have no money. I just kept moving my feet, filled out applications, took out loans, got that athletic scholarship. 4 years later, got my degree. Then I went to work in Parks and Recreation, and when I was working for a certain city as community services superintendent, I was asked to attend a symposium. And they had invited all of the community members to come to this symposium called the Education Gap. Has anybody ever heard of the Education Gap study? Yeah, they did a study. They wanted to know why all these students that got the same education, some went to college and some didn't. And you know what they found out? The students whose parents had graduated college or had white-collar jobs were exponentially more likely to go to college. And the least likely population were those students who English was their second language. The parents never completed anything beyond high school. And they worked blue-collar jobs and were also in the lower socioeconomic bracket. Guess what percentage they had to go through college and have a career? What percentage, you think? 3? 2. I learned I was in the 2% that made it. And there was nothing about me that I had that other people didn't have, other than I had possibility thinking. I never knew the odds. I knew they weren't great, but I didn't care. I wasn't impressed. I was only impressed with possibility. So today we're going to talk about how to choose possibility over probability to help us stretch into possibility this month and moving forward. So Karen and I are watching a show called Eli Stone. Anybody watch that show, Eli Stone? Great movie. There's this attorney, and he keeps hearing George Michael playing in his head. And at one point, he even sees him. And he goes to his brother, who's a doctor, and says, I keep hearing George Michael. What's going on? And so the brother does a workup and says, you're fine. You were just probably tired or, blows it off. So now he goes to a Chinese medicine practitioner, and he's doing, acupuncture. And then he not only hears George Michael, but sees him in a whole dance routine playing. So he goes back to his brother. They scan his head. He goes, "You have an aneurysm. And it's in the area where this could be happening." And then he goes back to the Chinese medicine practitioner and tells him this. And he goes, everything has two explanations. One is scientific and one is divine. It's up to us which one we buy into. See, the Chinese medicine practitioners saw him as not just a man with an aneurysm, but he knew many prophets had this ability to hear and see things beyond this reality. And so now this attorney goes to the Himalayas, and his father had the same thing, and it's a great story with many great quotes. I hope you watch it. But the one we buy into is ultimately the truth. The truth will live, and that will define our possibilities and the probabilities. So you may ask, what does it mean to choose possibility over probability? I'm going to give you my short version of it, and here it is. It's being more impressed with the power that creates conditions than the conditions themselves. It's being more impressed with the power that creates the conditions, right? Because the back of all matter, all things seen and unseen, is this intelligent force. It's a type of consciousness. In fact, every chair, every rock, everything is conscious. Every situation comes from consciousness. There's no spot that consciousness is not. In fact, I think the animists got it right. Animism is the doctrine that everything natural in the universe has a soul. And we would call that soul the pattern in the unseen that was created before it came into manifestation. And in animism, they believe the ostrich, the cactus, the mountains, the rocks, the thunder are all spiritual beings. And now science is kind of catching up to that, right? Quantum physics is telling us that's kind of true. So choosing possibility, choosing a woke world of consciousness operating system or first cause is what we're looking at shifting into. And one way to make that shift is to look and create a vision of possibility, right? And steer away from the pain of probability. Because I've noticed sometimes, and I've done this, all I can see in the windshield of my consciousness is the problem. And I have a very detailed picture of it. They said this, I did that, that was not fair, this should be that, right? That story, that narrative. But it's the vision that gets us shopping at Spirit's grocery store. And everything's always in stock. Do you know that? Here's how Michael Bernard Beckwith puts it. He says that we are pushed by pain until we are pulled by vision. We are pushed by pain. And you can stop the pain push anytime you want. Just catch a new vision. And notice how your energy changes, your vibration changes, because that's creative. That's what's creative. Michael also says that the potential is always bigger than the problem. Repeat after me. The potential is always bigger than the problem. I want that to be a little earworm for you. Now you get a little version of Mitch in your head. My clients always say that. They go, I always hear you in my head. I hope it's good. Good things. But you might say, Mitch, but the problem's so convincing. It's so real. You know, this pain in my hip, the conflict with my partner, my estranged child, how my family judges me. It's so real. I'm going to ask you a question. Who's framing the problem? Point to the problem. Don't point to your spouse or your partner, but I want you to point to the problem right now. Where is it? Where is it? Literally. Where is it? That's where it lives. And we need to ask, what is the basis for the problem? It's the story. It's the story we start to make up. And we use the facts, the diagnosis, the odds, the experts, the past mistakes. Who are you? You didn't succeed in the past. What others have done, it didn't work for them. We use the woe standard, world of effects. But what if we use the world of consciousness when that problem comes in? And we challenge our story. And we create a vision. You know who created an incredible vision? Was, phone. Dr. Lothar von Blankschmidt. That is a name, isn't it? And in the book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Anybody have that book? Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. If you don't have it, it should be in the top 10 of your metaphysical library. I read this book probably 15 years ago, and I still remember stories, and particularly this one. So Dr. Lothar was in a German concentration camp, and here's his story. I was a prisoner in a coal mine in Russia, and I saw men dying all around me in the prison compound. They were watched over by brutal guards, arrogant officers, and fast and sharp-thinking commissioners. After a short medical checkup, a quota of coal was assigned to each person. My quota each day was 300 pounds. In case any man did not fill his quota, a small ration of food was cut down, and in a short time, he would be resting in a cemetery. I started concentrating on my escape. I knew that my subconscious mind would somehow find a way. My home in Germany was destroyed, my family was wiped out, all my friends and former associates were either killed in the war or in a concentration camp. I said to my subconscious mind, I want to go to Los Angeles. Maybe not today, he would say that, but he said, I want to go to Los Angeles. And I will find the way. I had pictures of Los Angeles. I remembered some of the boulevards as well as the buildings every day and night. I would imagine I was walking down Wilshire Boulevard with an American girl I had met in Berlin prior to the war. She's now my wife. In my imagination, I would visit the stores, ride the buses, eat at the restaurants every night. I made it a special point to drive my imaginary American automobile down the boulevard of Los Angeles. I made it vivid, I made it real. These pictures in my mind were as real and as natural to me as the tree outside the prison compound. Every morning, the chief guard would count the prisoners as they lined up. He would count them 1, 2, 3, and when he got to me, I was 17. He called out my number in sequence. I stepped aside, but in the meantime, the counting guard was called away. He came back, and he started by mistake on the next man at 17. When the crew returned that evening, the number of men was the same. I was not missed. I knew I could leave, and they wouldn't look for me. I walked out of the camp undetected, kept walking for 24 hours until I made it to Poland. And then I traveled from Poland to Lucerne, Switzerland, where I was at a hotel one night and I met a man and his wife from America. The man asked me if I would care to be his guest, wrong story, at his home in Santa Monica. I accepted. When I got to the airport, the chauffeur picked me up and drove me along Wilshire Boulevard. And many of the boulevards which I had imagined so vividly, I recognized the buildings which I had seen in my mind so often. It actually seemed as if I had been to Los Angeles before. I had reached my goal. He goes on to say, I will never cease to marvel at the wonders of the subconscious mind. Truly, It has ways we know not of. Isn't that a beautiful story? Ways we know not of. I read that story 15 years ago, and it's still in my heart. And I want it to be in your heart also. Don't be so impressed with the problem. Be more impressed with the possibility. You ever hear the sayings that said, don't tell God about your problems, tell your problems about God? Anybody ever hear that? Could you imagine in your head, you go, okay, bank account, I'm working with a source that has unlimited money. I'm not so impressed with what I'm seeing in the screen. I know in the unseen it's coming in. And I don't have to know how. I don't have to know how. And our challenge is to stay away from our cognitive distortions. I'm listening to a book right now called Don't Believe Everything You Think. It's a great book, great book. And one of it calls the cognitive distortions of the mind the funhouse mirrors of the mind. Anyone been lost in the funhouse mirrors of the mind that's projecting all of these things? And one thing in the book it talks about, it says one of the cognitive distortions is that we promote feelings to establish fact. Feelings are not facts. They're a condition. They're an effect. Right? You ever hear somebody say, or maybe you've said, I feel hopeless. This situation is just hopeless. Right? We have elevated our feeling to the level of facts. See, feelings are evidence. They're not source or cause. And I'm not talking about intuitive feelings. Those have a different vibration to them. I'm talking about the ones that come from here, right? Our fight, flight, freeze brain. They're secondary cause. So we need to understand, I feel this way, but I know what my source is. I'm woke. I'm working with the world of consciousness. Anything is possible. And now, when you walk around in the world this way, people are going to wonder about you. I'm just saying, right? They're going to question why you're not so impressed by certain things. In fact, you might be seen as unreasonable. Anybody ever been seen as unreasonable in this teaching? Like, really? You're going to do that? I imagine if Dr. Lothar told some of his people, I'm going to LA in the camp, they're like, don't talk to that one, right? Because in the world of effects, there's a lot of good advice that's being peddled from that level of thinking, from woe. People mean well, right? They think they have your best interest at heart, but they're not working with a higher order of being. So they're not going to understand it. Here's what George Bernard Shaw says. He says, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. And don't we need to make some progress in the world and be less impressed with effects and know the truth? Because it's getting a little crazy in the supermarket of the world, isn't it? Right? The milk is over with the vegetables. There's snow in Florida. Like, it's getting a little dicey. So we have to remember the high truth. We can either say the world is falling apart, or we can say it's falling together. Right? If it's falling apart, we're in woe. We're in the world of effects. If it's falling together, we're in the world of consciousness and possibility. What will you choose when that next news item pops up? And it's pulling you into fear. If you step into possibility and say, it looks like it's falling apart, but I know it's falling together, and stay in that energy, right? And just decide right now what you're going to choose. Decide right now. So when it comes, right? So if your rent gets hiked up, you already chose to be on the woke operating system. Something better is coming. If you get a diagnosis, know that the percentages and the statistics, you're not that. And you're working with a higher order of being. Prices go up at the grocery store. Know that more flow is coming your way. Isn't that great? See, if you choose possibility, you stand in your power. God-given power, the same power that Dr. Lothar had, the same power I didn't even know I was using, and it still worked. Because we're always out picturing. But will you be pushed by the pain of the world and the world of effects, or will you be pulled by the unlimited, unceasing possibility of spirit that shines the sun, that beats your heart, that holds all these atoms together? Right? Go to the spiritual cow and the spiritual tree to get your good stuff and watch miracles unfold in your life. And as you watch, others will too, and they're going to ask, how'd you do that? Bring them here. We'll teach them. Or get in Foundations if you want to learn more. We're going to do that in March. We're going to unpack how all this works, and we're going to take a journey together to deepen in our possibility. Yes? Blessed be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. If you would please stand, and we'll read our affirmation. I will read it once, and then I will invite you to read it with me. I stretch beyond my perceived limitations and into the expansive realm of potential, knowing that with Spirit, all things are possible. Together. I stretch beyond my perceived limitations and into the expansive realm of potential, knowing that with Spirit, all things are possible. And so it is. Blessed be. All right, so this will be our conscious time of giving. If you could please take your gift in your hand. And once you get it in your hand, maybe it's your cell phone or maybe it's an envelope, we will read this together. And let us begin. I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And we'll have another song with Lauren and Michael, I think. Yes, blessed be. Come on up.
May I suggest to you, may I suggest this is the best part of your life. May I suggest this time is blessed for you. This time is blessed and shining almost blinding bright. Just turn your head and you'll begin to see 10,000 reasons that were just beyond your sight. The reasons why I suggest to you, why I suggest this is the best part of your life. There is a world that's been addressed to you, intended only for your eyes. A secret world, like a treasure chest for you, of private scenes and brilliant dreams that mesmerize. A tender lover's smile, a tiny baby's hand, the million stars that fill the turning sky at night. So I suggest, I suggest to you. So I suggest this is the best part of your life. There is a hope that's been expressed in you. The hope of 7 generations, maybe more. It is the faith that they invest in you. It's that you'll do one better than was done before. Because inside you know, inside you understand. Inside you know what's yours to finally set right. So I suggest to you. I suggest this is the best part of your life. I suggest this is the best part of your life.
Oh, I
suggest this is the best part
of your life.
And so I gratefully receive these gifts and the intention and love and high vibration with which they have been given, knowing that they continue to uplift this beautiful community as it expands in its capacity to love, to serve, to heal, to teach the truth that empowers us, that gives us hope, even in the darkest of nights. So I just give thanks knowing that these gifts continue to radiate their love through us and out into the greater community and into the world. Thank you, Spirit. I release this word, and together we say, and so it is, and so it is. Beautiful, beautiful. I want to mention John Mayfield. Who was here for John Mayfield when he spoke? Yes, his book is here. His book is here. So there's like 5 copies for sale, $25. A portion comes to the center. Brilliant book. It's called Body Intelligence, A New Paradigm. So talking about working with the unseen and healing, some really amazing things in there as well. I do want to say Rise and Speak only has 5 spots. So if you're thinking about it, get on the list. It's going to be an amazing journey. It's one of the best things I've ever done on this planet. In fact, I might put it on my tombstone. I did Rise and Speak. It's healing, it's uplifting. There aren't enough words to explain it, but I am going to show a little promo video next week. So if you're around, you'll get to see it. So let's do some thank yous. Let's thank our ushers, Sue and Pat. Can we give it up for them? Our candle lighter, Carol. Announcements by Stephen and Creature. Our tech team, we got Diana and Chana in the back. Sound with Maya. And our practitioner of the day, Reverend Madeline. Yes. Get a prayer with her, for sure. Children's Church, let's give it up for Jerry Lynn. And we're going to start doing curriculum and everything next month, which means we need more people to teach. We'll give you the stuff. You just show up. So if you have any interest in working with the children, can you please see Carol afterwards? She's going to support us in that. And can we please give it up one more time for our musicians, Lauren and Michael. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So what are you taking away from our experience together today? Good, you got the message. Gratitude, inspiration, community, joy. No woe. Getting out of the woe. Source, first cause, yes. Blessed be. So if you will, please stand and we will do our benediction together. And you will repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It's this thing called possibility. It's this thing called world of cause. It's this thing called Spirit's Supermarket. I know it. I feel it. I see it. Because I am it. And so it is. Blessed be. All right, we're going to do our final sing out song. You guys playing it? I think we have it up there. Yeah. Are you going to play it for us, Lauren? Yeah. Okay, fabulous. We like it better when it's live. Thank you. It's not on my list.
I'm not on his list.
I release and I let go. I let spirit run my life. Heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. My faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. The spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. My faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Nice. I forgot one person to thank. Thank our host for today, Karen Blakely, almost minister. Love you. Thank you. Eating and food shortly. We're going to move the chairs, bring out tables, and we'll get started shortly.